with the rhythm of my heart. That's why every song I write is painful and earnest. This is pure art. I don't know if you've ever felt like I do, but freedom is at its best when you have everything to lose. I go where I can find peace.
Welcome everybody to Picks and Bones. I'm your host Eric, bringing you the best in Americana, red dirt, black dirt, Carolina clay, and just good old rock and roll. Today, I'm bringing to you Mitch from Vagabond Crowe. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Glad to have you on the show. I know I've been a fan of you guys for a little while now. Somebody got a local friend turned me on and said, "Hey, you need to listen to these guys." And I'm like, absolutely. And I think it was because of Fortune Teller, which is the album that you had come out last year. So I'll let you kind of go into a little more details about the band and, you know, where you got, what you guys do and your specific sound.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, we started out just me and Paula back in 2018. And, you know, I was writing songs here in the house, and she encouraged me to go and put down a demo. So we went and recorded a demo together, a little 3-song track, and then it just kind of went from there. Our manager, Brian, we actually used to work with him, and he got a hold of it here at work and was like, let's do something with this thing, and started booking shows for us. And neither of us had ever really played much anywhere. I was in bands in and out of high school, but, you know, I'm in my 30s now. And so after that, I didn't have any experience. So we just kind of went at it and started working it all out. And then we added a violin player, which you hear on the album. She's no longer with us. Now we have a drummer, a lead guitarist, and we just added a bassist. So we've gone from a duet to a full band now.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so we put out the album Fortune Teller back in October last year. We've gotten a lot of really good reviews from that. Divide and Conquer did an album review on us. We've had, you know, the good fortune of getting a lot of traction with this album. So, you know, we've been played all over the radio and stuff like that. So it's been a good thing, man.
And you guys' manager, Brian, is a workhorse, man. Let me tell you, he really is.
Yeah.
I love working with that guy. He is so encouraging. And I mean, I know with, you know, the field that you guys all work in that, you know, that comes naturally, but, he's a big supporter of the local music scene and everything. And which kind of will lead me into the review that's coming up later this month.
Yeah, man.
You want to kind of tell everybody about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Brian, I can't say enough about Brian. We give him a shout out at every show. He's just as much a part of the band, I think, as anybody with an instrument in their hand. You know, he's been behind us since day one. And so sometime last year, he got this idea that he wanted to bring bands from North Carolina and South Carolina together down in Spartanburg and put on a big show. And he went to the auditorium. I think he had some connections there with some people, and was like, "This is what I want to do." And they were like, "If you can make it happen, we'll put it together." And so he got, of course, us, Remedy 58 from down in South Carolina, Strange Birds from down in South Carolina, and then the Brown Mountain Lightning Bugs from I think they're up near Raleigh or Durham. And, you know, they've all kind of been good friends of ours. And they're like, hell yeah, let's just throw this thing together and see what happens. And, I mean, the closer it gets, the more the excitement's kind of building for it.
Oh yeah.
And, but that, I mean, that's, I would say 70% of it is Brian just like telling everybody he knows about this thing.
Just Brian being Brian.
And so I'm not a promoter. I want to play the music. And so, he's that other piece that's, extremely valuable. But yeah, it's going to be a big show, man.
Well, I'm going to actually be there doing some, behind the scenes interviews and everything to kind of keep this going on. Cause, Remedy 58 is another band that's been featured on this show. And, you know, haven't had a chance to really meet or talk with the other folks yet, but I'm looking forward to that as well. I think it's going to be a heck of a show, and I'm encouraging everybody go out and go ahead and buy your tickets now, so you know where you're going to be, and you can enjoy it. I've got mine. I can tell you that I've got my tickets in my hot little hands. Well, actually, they're above the visor in my car, so I don't lose them.
Nice.
Because if they come into my office or my studio, you can forget about it.
Right, they're just going to disappear.
Yeah. Kind of describe your sound. Because, I mean, I know you've really, if you've gone from, you know, a duo to, you know, even having a three-piece with a fiddle, and now you're in you've got the full band effect.
Yeah.
You know, kind of.
Yeah, man. I mean. If you go listen to our album and then come see us live, it's going to be two different things. You know, I think when we lost our fiddle player, you know, we looked for a while to try to replace that sound with someone else, and just had a hard time finding somebody. There's not a lot of fiddle players around here, like as much as you would think there are. If they are around here, they're already in a band, you know. Or
so, they're a very, very hot commodity.
Yes. Yeah. And so, you know, we put an ad out, on, one of the websites. I'm blanking on the name right now, but anyway, we put an ad out for a drummer and a guitarist and a bass player and a fiddle player, just to kind of see what we would catch. And, we found Brent, who's our drummer. And he came into the studio and he's on the album. So on the album, you've got, you know, the fiddle and the drums on there. And he also played some bass on there too. But now if you come out, dude, it's gone from this folk Americana sound to this folk rock sound.
I love it.
And which, yeah, I mean, I dig it. I dig it the more we do, you know, and so those songs you hear on the album, they kind of transformed into something a little bit heavier. You know, Joel, our lead guitarist, he also plays harmonica. He plays the hell out of a harmonica. And so a lot of times he'll just switch to that, you know, to kind of keep some of that softer sound to some of the songs. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I write new stuff all the time, and we've got a couple new songs, that we're going to try to release this year. We're going to try to get in the studio in May and, record another single, and it's going to be completely different than Fortune Teller. It's got a heavier folk rock blues sound to it, and I'm really excited to put that out there. We're gonna be playing those new ones probably at the Carolina Revue too. So,
oh man,
people will start getting a little bit of taste of it.
I'm really looking forward to that, because I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime that, I know this is gonna sound crazy with the kind of show I do, I love when people go heavier.
Yeah.
And I mean, I grew up as a lead singer for a metal band,
okay.
and metal in my soul. So you can kind of understand. I still love that. that
Yeah.
aspect that gets brought to things, because you get it because, and I like dark. That's why I kind of
Yeah.
like so many of the songs on Fortune Teller, because they're not happy songs. And,
Right. No, they're
and
not.
and there's a place for happy music. Don't get me wrong, but it's that real and those darker stories and the darker feel to things. That's the ones that I think that connect people so much on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
and this is one thing that I love to kind of get into discussions back behind some of these songs with people, because it's, when we're all fighting and wrestling with our own demons, it's a whole lot easier to recognize when somebody else has had that, wrestled with some of those same demons, and you either learn how to play together nicely, or you learn how to fight them off. And
right.
I'm a firm believer in learn how to play nicely with them.
Right. Yeah.
So,
none of those songs. I mean, there's a few of them there. Like Magic's probably the happiest song on that album.
Yeah, that's a great song too.
But even that was written because Paula, who is my girlfriend, she has panic attacks, and it was written after one of her panic attacks, and I just didn't know what the hell to do to help her, and so. It sounds happier than it actually is. And I like that dynamic too. It's like you kind of get to present this sound, especially with that folk Americana stuff. It's a little more upbeat, but behind it is the storytelling that, comes from a little bit of a darker place.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. The two others that on that album that have been kind of standouts for me personally were a Ghost of You and Calling Me Home. I mean, I love the instrumentation behind them. I love the lyrics to it. And
thanks, man.
I think that was what initially really hooked me to you and your sound, because it was like, okay, wait a minute, this is a little deeper than I first gave it. Because, first listen, you're just like, okay, this is all right. And then, you always come back to things. And that's something that I always tell everybody, especially if you're discovering some of the newer music. If you're if you come on my show, people are going to hear snippets of, they might get a minute or two of a song or a couple of songs. But I always tell everybody, you've got to go into somebody's catalog and then listen to it once, step back, listen to it again and see what you digested.
Right.
Because that's when you start picking up all those little nuances. And you really get a feel for the artists themselves, which is why I do this show. Because I want people to actually get to know you, the artist, and not just, okay, hey, I bought this CD or I caught this band at this show. And that's that, and promoting, independent music everywhere.
Right.
Because
hell yeah, man.
That's more important than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you get started as a musician?
I mean, I picked up the guitar for the first time when I was 12, and the same day I picked up a guitar, I put pen to paper, and I just started writing, and I was like, I want to write my own shit. I want to say what I want to say at, whatever a 12-year-old can say, and it's like, from that time on, I was just writing, and there was a long span, where I wasn't really writing a whole lot. And then I kind of came back to it, and like I said, I played in bands in high school and stuff like that. I'm 31, so I got caught up in the punk emo phase of music and like that whole scene, and I ate it up. I think again, what always spoke to me in music was, it was the lyrics. It was what these guys are saying, because I can relate to that and I can feel that, and And so once I got back into writing and playing and stuff like that, and I got with Paula, it just kind of grew from there. And, I would say first and foremost, before anything else, I'm a lyricist. I have something that I want to say, and I, whether that's just for me to have some catharsis and to get something off my chest, or if it's for me to help someone know that they're not alone when what they're going through, that's why I'm doing this, is because I've got a lot of shit going on up here and in here, exactly. and I got to get it out.
You're a natural storyteller.
Right. I think it's becoming more and more of that, in the humblest way that I can say that. It's this has become something that I didn't expect it would become, and I'm really happy and feel blessed to be able to have people listen to the words that I've written down and connect with it. And so, I think that's what drove me to become a musician, was that these are the things I'm thinking and feeling. And this guitar is a vehicle for me to be able to say those things. Because any day of the week, I'll stand up in front of a microphone and sing, but put me in front of a microphone and talk to somebody, that's a no-go. Like, that's not going to happen. And so, it's the only way I feel like I can really say and speak to who I am. And fortunately that connects with people, in a deep way.
I know, I completely get that. Now I'm the polar opposite. You put me in front of a microphone, I don't care. You want me to sing? Sure. You want me to talk? Sure. Give me get on camera and, make a blithering idiot of myself. Absolutely. Every chance I get.
Right.
It's like, I was telling you, my daughter's got a birthday. We'd gone to dinner last night, and these kids right now, they're messing with us, whatever, TikTok or whatever it is right now.
Oh, and yeah, I've heard of that.
She does all these videos and whatnot, and she's like spun it around on me, and I said something random that I probably shouldn't have, but she was just like, okay. Her friends were like, "Oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever." That's like, you got a dad win. I'm like, man, you don't get dad wins with high school kids these days.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Who are your musical influences? I know you said you kind of came up in the punk grunge era and everything, but who do you feel like has music that you came up on or listened to has really helped define you as an artist, and even because you are a lyricist, at heart, that means you're going to be a poet or whatever, that, even somebody in those veins that has kind of, that you've really dug, that has kind of helped bring you to where you're at today, even.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like, the older you get, at least for me, the stuff that I grew up on in my teenage years listening to, like I go back to it every now and then and listen to it, but it's not the same. I feel like I've kind of outgrown some of that stuff. And so the guys that really, like, that I connect with on a really deep level, Neil Young is a really big influence of mine. I just like the guy, he's a machine, man. Like, he just puts out music and like good quality music, and he writes, like, his catalog is just unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
And so I think, we do a cover of, My, Hey, Hey.
One of my favorites
kind
of his.
Took it and did it our own way. And, it's just his music's timeless and his lyrics are timeless. And so I really appreciate that guy and just how he's kind of stood on his own and been his own person. And it seems like through his whole career, and he just put out another album last year and just like going to do it until he dies. Like,
he's absolutely a workhorse.
I respect that. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I saw a documentary, what was it, Down in the Valley? And they were covering a lot of the stuff about, It was on a Netflix or something like that. But it was actually covering that whole scene, like where when the Beach Boys and, you know, what was it, Steve, Buffalo Springfield and everything, when, you know, they were getting their start. And, you know, even then Neil was like, you know, whatever, I'm in a band, and now I'm not. Now I'm going to kick you guys' ass because I'm going to go out, do my own thing because I'm not going to be told what to do.
Right.
And I respect defiant independence.
Yeah.
Especially of
absolutely.
artists, because, you know, that's the folks that you got to really sit back and go, damn, they got some integrity. They're not going to be, you know, they're not going to allow themselves to be, you know, pigeonholed into one thing and told that this is what your sound is. And that's another thing that I love about Brian with you guys, is he wants you guys to just have your sound and make your sound the best out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
it's just I think music is so fluid, and like if you stay in a pocket for too long, you're just going to get stuck there, you know. And I think like that's what I appreciate about having the full band now, is like we've got all these influences coming in from all these guys, and I tell them every time we get together, like, you know, I want to know what you think, I want to know what you hear, so that we can keep growing and expanding. But another one of my influences is Jack White. He's a really big influence of mine. I grew up with him with the White Stripes, and then when he started doing his solo stuff, I was like, hell yeah! Like, he's just like the blues soulful side of him, and his guitar playing, which it's just another level. Like, just what he hears and what he does. Like, I just respect the hell out of him. And he again does whatever he wants to do.
Yep.
You know, and it doesn't seem to matter, you know, if people like it. People do like it, but you know, he's creating something that's going to last for generations. It's not just going to die when the next pop single comes out. You know, it's going to go on and on and on.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to still be looking at his music, you know, 40, 50 years from now, going, wow, that was a lot more complicated and, you know, was saying so much more than they even realized now.
Yeah.
Because, trust me, Jack White is sacred in our household.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I've seen him multiple times, but see, I'm more of the Dead Weather and Raconteurs kind of side of things.
They're fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Those guys are fantastic too. Yeah.
And
the latest Raconteurs album was killer.
So, how do you feel like Vagabond Crowe is going to evolve now that you're a multi-piece band and, you know, you're getting more opportunities?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think, I am really excited to have that permanent low end now with our new bass player, Chad. You know, I just see it continuing to grow and becoming. I want to create a sound that's different than anything else. It doesn't fit into a genre necessarily. Like, there's bits and pieces. Joel, he keeps calling it folk rock fusion, and so I don't really know what that means, but I dig it, and
I like it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just kind of, it's hard. It's funny that, you know, you go from sitting and playing in your living room by yourself for your whole life, and then you kind of give all these different people a say in the music you're creating.
Yeah. And
it's like, as I've slowly let go a little bit more, it's grown into this thing that I don't know what it is, but I love it. And so, you know, I want to continue to let the sound evolve on its own, and I would love to get to a point to where we can start touring, you know, and go for a 2-week-long tour, and just, you know, start hitting the East Coast pretty hard. You know, I think we've got a ways to go before we can actually start doing that, but I think that that's the direction that I see this going in, and I'm going to keep putting out music as long as I can and as often as I can.
See, there's nothing wrong with that. And you guys are really creating something beautiful, not only lyrically, but musically. And it really needs to be heard by more people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which hopefully this interview here is going to help get you guys out there.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got folks that listen all across the country and internationally. So you never know.
Awesome.
You might get some fans in France too.
I'd be fine with that.
Hey, my show's big in France. Oddly enough, that's one of my highest demographics.
That's funny, man. That's cool though.
I mean, outside of the continental U.S., I've got a lot of fans there, and folks that listen. But yeah, Europe and especially France. France loves honky tonk. They love Americana music, and who am I to judge them at all? So, I can't, say anything about that. But well, let's kind of jump into some of these bare bones questions.
All right, man.
Okay, what is your favorite guitar to play? Bear with me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. What is your favorite guitar to play?
I used to have this small body Guild that I started out with. If you go back and see earlier pictures of just me and Paula, or some of the older videos we put out, that's what I was playing, and it was like the first guitar that I bought that I just fell completely in love with. The sound of it was awesome, and it had this like old kind of like dirty bluesy sound to it, and I could just beat the shit out of it when I played it. Nice. And it would hold up to anything, and so I played that for a long time. And actually, Fortune Teller, it's you'll hear it on there too. It made its way into that album. But then when we added in the drums and lead guitar, it wasn't big enough to hold up anymore to the sound. And so I put it up, and now I'm actually playing Brian's Martin guitar. I think it's a DO32 or something like that. And it's it is smooth. Yeah. I love that fucking guitar, man. They're like great. It's real nice. A lot of people hate on Martins and say that they're difficult to play, but this thing it's really nice. So right now that is I'm not going to give that up. He might have to just like take it from me one night, because I don't think I'm going to give it back to him.
I think the reason that people say that about Martins like they do is they don't have the skill set to be able to play a Martin to make it sound the way, because it's very sensitive to mistakes.
Yeah.
Because, a high quality with a good guitar with good resonance is going to show either you know what you're doing or don't know what you're doing. I mean, It's like a really good tailor. I mean, you pick one of those up, you're either going to make it sound like the angels are singing in heaven, or you're going to sound like shit and you'd be like, I suck.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's very true.
Okay. What's a band you're really into right now?
There is, God, I always come back to this one guy. And I feel like I've talked about him way too much, but I don't care. I love the guy. He's got a band that plays with him now, but he just goes by Noah Gunderson. And he started out acoustic folk stuff, and now has grown into something much larger than that, kind of similar to what we're doing. And I'm into him right now because the way he writes, man, it hits home. And I can listen to his stuff over and over and over again and hear something new in the words every single time. And it connects on an emotional level too, that just doesn't go away. So that would be who I would choose if I had to pick who I'm into right now.
All right.
Noah Gunderson.
What is your all-time favorite book?
Lame Deer, Seeker of Visions. It's a book by a Native American. He was part of the Lakota Indian tribe up in Montana and North Dakota and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And back in like the 1920s, this American author went and lived with them for a while and interviewed and collected like all these stories from him. Basically, he was a medicine man. And that book actually inspired the song Sweetgrass, which is on our album and was like the song that kind of set this whole thing off. So that's it. Lame Deer, Seeker of Visions.
Love it. Okay. Are you a barbecue guy?
When it's on the table, I will fucking eat it.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask, pulled pork or brisket. And do you go dry
Pulled
rub?
pork.
Or are you are you a sauce guy or dry rub?
Sauce.
What kind? Do you go sweet? Do you go Carolina mustard?
Carolina mustard, dude.
Okay. What was the first record you ever bought for yourself or picked out for somebody to buy you?
Oh. Creed's, I think it was called My Own Prison. It was their first album they put out. That was the first album I was like, Dad, I have to have this album. So
this is a judgment-free zone, so yes, it's good.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to say that out loud or not.
Okay, what is the first concert you went to?
I grew up like, you talking about like first ever concert that I remember going to?
Yep.
I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, and so my parents, like I said earlier, they didn't go to a lot of concerts, but they would go to these Christian concerts with the churches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The first one I ever remember going to was by this guy named Carmen. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Okay. You might be the only person I've ever told that to that's been like, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah, and I mean, if you'd said DC Talk, the Gaithers, I mean, I've seen all those cats, Michael English, and now I'm really showing my age.
Yeah. No, I grew up listening to all those guys, Bill Gaither. Yeah, like DC Talk actually came to the church that I grew up in, like when they were just starting out, and like I think the whole church walked out because they didn't know what they were getting. Like this band just set up and just started playing Christian grunge music, and it freaked everybody out. So, but yeah, Carmen, I actually got up on stage with that guy and sang one of his songs with him.
See, that's awesome. See?
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, honestly, there's not many people in the South that can't tie things back with going, okay, I sang in church. That's where I got my start singing.
Absolutely.
Or playing as a musician was, hey, it was what you did. You went to church on Sunday and you sang in the choir.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, dude. I just got into Star Wars like a year ago, and I think it was like the best time for me to get into it because like I can go back and watch like the whole thing now.
Yep.
You know, and so. Yeah, Star Wars.
Good answer. Okay, this is one that everybody loves. This is a two-part question.
All right.
First part is it's that one song that it doesn't matter how many times you hear it, the volume's going up. It's your jam. You know, you love it, and you just have to have it in your life. But now on the converse of that, what is your guilty pleasure song? That song that you love it so much, but you kind of hate if everybody found out about it, but you don't care anyway.
Okay. So the first part, I'm a big Avett Brother fan too. Yeah, I think we cover like 3 of their songs in our set. But the Ballad of Love and Hate, that song, every time I hear it, I get emotional every single time I hear it. And so that's
who doesn't?
That'll never change.
Who doesn't? I mean, the opening, love sends a letter, or
Love writes a letter and sends it
to hate. Yeah. That's such a beautiful, it's dark song.
God damn, it's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So my guilty pleasure is Katy Perry's Teenage Dream.
That's you were the first person to use Katy Perry as their guilty pleasure song. I tip my hat to you, sir. Well played.
Thank you.
Well played.
I've covered that live too.
There's nothing wrong with that.
At one of our shows.
I tell everybody my guilty pleasure is I love Britney Spears. I'm like, you can
fantastic.
Now, not some of the newer stuff necessarily, but I'm like, come on, Toxic comes on the radio. Tell me nobody doesn't you don't turn it off. You turn it up and you jam, or Hit Me Baby one more time. Everybody sings that in their kitchen. I mean, when you're cooking and it comes on like a playlist, please,
right.
I'm on a let's bring Britney back campaign.
Yeah. Well, I have so much more respect for you now. We can have like our own little Katy Perry Britney fan club.
Let's do it. I'm down. Okay, a person living or dead that you would love to be able to have taken the stage with once.
Dude, that's so hard. Fucking Jimi Hendrix, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you have a personal mantra that kind of gets you through things?
I guess, man. If I had to put it into like some sort of words, something I feel like got me through the last decade of my life, which is kind of where the album Fortune Teller came from. It would be everything has always worked out and everything is always going to work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides yourselves, who is a band that people should be checking out right now?
Sugar Ray. I mean, not Sugar Ray. Fuck. You can edit that out. Sugar Ray. Oh, shit.
I'm sure they would fucking appreciate that. I got a shout out, man. We're going to be relevant again. Yes.
These guys are killing it, guy. You don't know what you're missing. Holy shit.
That was fucking awesome.
Salty Ray.
Okay.
Yeah, they have you heard of them?
Brian actually told me to go check them out. And,
yeah, you need to.
And I'm learning that if Brian says go check somebody out, he's gonna, it's gonna be a good call. And I've been doing the same thing for him, and so we talk music quite a bit, he and I. All right, this is gonna be your favorite. Yeah. This is everybody's favorite.
All right.
If you had a spirit animal, what would it be and why?
Oh.
Now, I will say it can be mythical. It can be real. It can actually be a person.
Mm-hmm. I feel obligated to say crow, but I'm not. Damn, dude. Probably like a whale shark. I love those things.
Okay, that's a first on the show.
Okay.
See,
okay, because they're just
you're
like
winning.
They're massive, and they're just like they hang out by themselves. I like being alone, and they're gentle, but they're huge. Yeah, I've always been fascinated by those things.
Well, then, congrats, you sir have broken two fourth walls, if you will, on this show.
It feels good.
You brought in the Katy Perry
dude.
and a whale shark. I love it. Well, we'll start. You got any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium for putting on this fantastic show that we're about to play. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Brian Wagner, because he is a king of kings in the management world. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Andy Bishop too from Giraffe Studio for recording and producing that album for us. Those are two fantastic human beings that
awesome.
Everybody needs to get a hold of if they're going to play music.
There you go. Well, all right, folks. How I end this all the time. Go out, be good to people, be kind to people. Support local music. Support awesome artists like Vagabond Crowe. We would all love to see there be a packed house when they do this review on the
Absolutely.
What is it, the 28th?
Yep.
You can still buy your tickets in Spartanburg, South Carolina, folks, at the Memorial Auditorium there. Everybody needs to go by them. This is going to be one heck of a show. You don't want to miss it, because this is hopefully going to be a first of many that is going to be able to get everybody back featured on and looking at Carolina music. Because
absolutely.
I'm on a personal mission, if you haven't heard, to reunite and kind of take back as a community, us to take back our musical heritage, because there were Carolinas before there was a Tennessee or anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the music is so diverse that I'm calling it Carolina Clay. And
I love that.
We're all, we're all dirty. We're all, and our sound isn't perfect. It's a little dirty too. And it doesn't matter if you're doing the rock and roll thing or if you're going more country or whatever. Everybody still pulls from that same musical heritage that we have right here. And because that's what creates that sound. You can go fake it and be like and sound like other people, but everybody that's sticking true to themselves, you have there's a distinct Carolina sound. And that's, folks, that's what I want everybody to jump in on. So, folks, thank you for coming. Mitch, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Guys, we will see you guys next week.
Faster than expected.